There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Welcome back to the Fan Awakens. This is the show where we talk about Star Wars, and it's been a while. There's been a lot of Star Wars news that's came out, and we're back. G, how are you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. We got some big things already coming out.
We have a lot of stuff. I've been on the channel since our last podcast, but we haven't done it like this, you know? We haven't let our minds just sort of go with the wind, as they say. Travel across parsecs, what would the word be? Unharangued? I don't know. But we have a lot of stuff. The Mandalorian comes out in a week. Rise of Skywalker comes out in a month and a half. And we have new trailers for each. We have new books, which, you know.
I'm sure we'll set aside a small. I'll try to contain you because this man has got some words to say.
I have a couple things to say. But what I will say first is that, let me adjust this right here a little bit. What I will say first is that I have read a majority of Spark of the Resistance. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, yes.
And we'll get to that later. Firstly, the trailer came out, the final trailer for both The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian, but we'll get to The Mandalorian first, all right? So the final trailer drops. I didn't expect this thing to come. It just kind of dropped. It was more of a TV spot, as you said, but there was a lot of juice in that trailer, man. They gave us a whole new character, and it appears that Ming-Na Wen, who you may know as the voice of Mulan or Agent May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is in this thing, man. She's playing an assassin. I saw it on Instagram in the morning yesterday, and I'm on board, man. She kicks ass.
Yeah, that's appropriate. That's what I was thinking.
Part of the Disney family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that she's worked with Favreau before, but I mean, part of the Marvel family. It makes sense. She is awesome. She's badass, and yeah, I'm down for Ming-Na Wen. Another kick-ass person on the roster. We've got Pedro Pascal. We've got Gina Carano, Carl Weathers, Giancarlo Esposito. Now Ming-Na Wen. We got Mr. Werner Herzog.
Oh, yeah.
What is this line? Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Do you think he's going to die in episode 3?
1, yes.
1? I wouldn't doubt it.
No, he's going to be just used off.
What?
He's going to be used off, and he's just gonna
Yeah, he'll just out of there. But it'll be cool to have him for an episode. This show is it's got me, man. Especially because we haven't talked since the other trailer dropped either. They showed the Mandalorian doing his thing, man. He just walks out of there, shoots a stormtrooper right, point blank. You see blaster bolts coming and ricocheting off his Mandalorian armor. I love. I've been trying to stay in the dark as much as I can, but that small fella, little character, he's like Mandalorian. I've heard the stories, which is cool. I like that. I like the setup. They showed him fighting some Transdoshans in more depth. Transdoshans, of course, the species of the same hail as Bosk.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He put them in. That's who was in the Carbonite. So we know he kicked their Transdoshan hindquarters. But
yeah, I was about to say, what do they refer to that as?
We'll say, I don't know the anatomy of a Transdoshan, but they are bipeds, you know?
Oh, that's late in the game, huh?
Yeah. The Mandalorian has got us hooked. Disney Plus, November 12th, the night of November 11th, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I assume. Also, I heard that Disney Plus, is ad-free, but apparently not super ad-free.
Would you have to pay?
No. I think that it's like they promote their own stuff. So, like, there's probably going to be episode 9 ads. But I don't know if it's going to be ads as far as, like, you play it and it plays an ad. It might just be, like, at the menus and stuff. You know what I mean? Which I think that's more of just, like, self-promotion. I don't think that's much of an ad. I don't think you're going to be watching Civil War. Then it's going to be like, ad 1 of 2.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 9. Ad 2 of 2. Star Wars Episode 9. Another question. Do you think that we're going to... No, that's for another podcast. Sorry. What... Okay, I'll give you this. Besides Mandalorian, what character are you most excited about from the TV show?
What was the? I forget her name. Not the one that you listed off.
Cara Dune,
No.
Ming-Na Wen,
No, the other one. You got one more.
Carl Weathers, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, Carl Weathers. I'm excited to see. You know what he.
Yeah,
You know what he's getting his hands on in here.
I want him to say it. The line.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be too on the nose, but maybe they'll just.
I want you.
that pronounced in that universe.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no. This it got looks
He's
like
gonna,
the action.
I want him. I don't care. I do care. It would break my heart, but I wanted to come into his first scene. It's like living in America. He's just going out there throwing some punches. You know.
Oh, the one time you'll allow the Star Wars universe to just completely like.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I have no choice, but
Yeah.
no, I don't want any Apollo Creed references unless it's something cool like you don't want to mess with him. He's got a mean right hook or something. You know what I mean? Like something like that would be pretty cool to me. If as long as it's subtle like that and just like a little wink and nod, nothing like, oh, he's the best boxer in the parsec. You should see him when he wears his like red and blue trunks. But if it's something like if he just like drops somebody with the right hand, I'd be cool with it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's got many weapons on him. He looks like he looks.
Whole body's a weapon. Expect a big ping, brother.
Well, what about you? Besides the Mandalorian,
I would probably have to say
what's his? I forget. No, what was that?
Carl Weathers, man. That's my guy. You know, Rocky,
Well,
Rocky
yeah,
2, Rocky 3, dare I say Rocky 4?
One more.
He's not in that one. That's why it's not good.
Oh, okay, that was
It makes sense, right?
Well, there you go. I think. Well, now that it's
No
better
Carl
news.
Weathers. It tells you, what does Rocky need to be successful? Carl Weathers. And if it doesn't have Carl Weathers, it needs a son of Carl Weathers character.
So I'm
Creed.
guessing your choice is Carl Weathers as well.
Yeah, hell yeah. I am so excited for Carl Weathers. I don't think this world has enough Carl Weathers, there needs to be more Carl Weathers on the planet. There's only one, and I am blessed. I feel truly blessed that we have him in a Star Wars project. I didn't expect that whatsoever when it was announced, and I still pinch myself. I just watched Rocky 2 nights ago. I'm like, damn, this guy is in the Star Wars universe. I'm ready. Also, have you heard the news that apparently there's a big spoiler in episode 1 of The Mandalorian?
That's already out.
No. From what I understand, the media who got to see it have said that there's a big spoiler within the episode 1.
A spoiler of.
It's got to. I would imagine it's Boba Fett, right?
That's. Oh yeah. Now I remember that. I heard a lot of people saying like.
It's got to be.
We were watching something and then they mentioned
Yeah, they
Everyone's
mentioned
thinking
it.
most likely.
Has to be. But see, that's the thing. Everybody's saying it, but I went ahead and I was trying to think of other things that it could be, And so one thing I did think is possible, unlikely but possible. We could see Luke Saber. I think there's a chance. It was lost, we don't know where it's been. His green saber. I don't think it's that far-fetched of an idea, and it could lead to us eventually seeing Maz Kanata in the show. I think that's a connection that I would like to see made because I think Maz is a good character who I really enjoy from The Force Awakens, who once again in The Last Jedi got nothing at all.
Literally just nothing.
So I mean, I think, she's in the Disney family, Marvel family as well, and in the Star Wars family, and we've known that she's old. She predates the Galactic Empire. She was there for the Sith and the Jedi. Why can't she be around? This is her kind of group of people. So it would make sense that they cross paths, her and the Mandalorian or her and other characters in the show. Maybe they even go to Takodana and visit her. I would not be against that. Something I've thought of, and maybe that's where she comes into contact with Luke's blue saber.
Oh yeah, how did she get her hands on that?
I mean, that's what I meant. Sorry, not the green, the blue saber. That's how I think that there's a chance that shows up.
What if? Oh no, they could have already explained it because they already had books out for the prequel.
But we don't know how
they didn't mention
Maz came across it necessarily. So I think that the door's open, for Maz.
They got the budget for that?
But people, yeah, for sure.
They got a budget to bring Maz to life? Well, clearly Last Jedi didn't.
They had the Yeah, we got the budget, boss. They had it. They spent it on fathiers.
They did.
Look, I'm not an episode 8 hater, but what I will say is that fathiers are essentially space horses, but they were all CG. I'm just saying, my boy JJ got real horses with partial CG on them. You know,
Oh, well.
they're really riding horses, and like they got the dots and stuff on their head and different things, so that they could, that's the beautiful thing that I love that JJ does, that he mixes, practical and CG effects together so well.
Yeah.
That's not something a lot of people would think of,
Because we did see a movie recently that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. But the point is, so that was one of my theories, because everybody's gonna go crazy over Boba Fett. I figure why even talk about it like in depth when we can talk about other stuff, The other one of the other ideas I had, because they're saying, and it's tough because they say it's a big spoiler. I'm like, it's got to be Boba Fett, duh. But we're gonna speculate. What if? Like, what if?
What are you throwing out here?
What if we see like Alden Ehrenreich or like Gambino, pop up? We know they have a relationship as Lando, but it'd be weird because they'd have to age them up, and it'd be 10 years after Return of the Jedi. But Favreau has a relationship with Donald Glover from Lion King. I don't know. That's another possibility. I highly doubt it, but I know
Most
that
likely it's probably going to be the Boba Fett one.
It is. But look. Here's the thing. I'm just trying to speculate here. We know that Ehrenreich and Glover were both signed on to multi-picture deals. That's there's no doubt about that. So, if they have them under contract, you got to use them at some point, you would assume. But if it is a Boba Fett angle, let's entertain that for a minute. Sorry, I'm speaking like Jeff Goldblum. Do you think that he's going to be the main antagonist?
For who?
Boba Fett. Because it's set up to be Giancarlo Esposito to be the main antagonist. But a lot of this stuff, series do this all the time, especially the big series. Most of all these trailers is from the first episode or the first two, because they don't want to give away much from the whole series.
Yeah.
So I do think that a lot of the stuff we're seeing from the Mandalorian trailers from episode 1.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I would not doubt that Boba Fett comes in and he's the main villain. And not just the main villain, like Giancarlo Esposito can be the main villain for season 1, but I think overall it could be Boba Fett. And I think that's how you give meaning to the character who otherwise, in my opinion, pretty lame. I never bought into Boba Fett very much. He didn't do much. I think that a lot of the coolness comes from his look, and that's about it. He has a lot of legend stuff that was pretty ridiculous. He beat Darth Vader in a fight. How? I don't know. He got killed by a blind man. He didn't get killed, but, he got killed.
Yeah, because I was thinking, in terms of, bounty hunting, they're all... I would say, how would they put them in each other's paths?
I think it's clear, though, how they do, because Boba Fett's a fraud. I think that's a whole angle. He wears and dons the Mandalorian armor, but he's not a Mandalorian. And I think that's a big thing, Mandalorians are all about honor and their homeland and all that stuff. And seeing a false Mandalorian, like you don't have the right to wear that armor, And I could see them definitely clashing. And I think that show them what a real Mandalorian's about.
Well, isn't it canon as to how he goes?
What?
How Boba Fett goes?
How?
How does he die?
Oh,
Or
because of Legends being eradicated, redacted, he got out of the Sarlacc pit in Legends. But since Legends doesn't exist, at this point in canon, we just know that he got eaten in the Sarlacc pit. But I think that most people just kind of assume he didn't die.
Yeah.
Because they leave that door open. Because we know James Mangold was going to direct a Boba Fett film.
He was, yeah.
And I was on board with that. I wasn't on board for a Boba Fett movie at all until I heard James Mangold was doing it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But, I would love to see Boba finally have a reason to be cool. Like this, I purposely avoid Boba Fett merch because I'm like, he's kind of whack. Yeah, he tracks down Han Solo. Then Han Solo hits him with a stick while he's blind, and he falls into the Sarlacc pit.
There you go.
That's about it. It's very little screen time. What they did with him in episode 4 was pretty ridiculous in the special editions, which is pretty much all we've seen, where they superimposed him in that first Java scene and just like walks past the screen like it's just a normal movie. And they'll say, "Oh, it's Boba Fett. Look, it's Boba Fett. Hey guys, look, it's Boba Fett. Boba Fett's right there. Now he's walking, he's gone."
That's literally it.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? Are you on board with this though?
Well, yeah, true. Or at least try to make them, more interesting. Because, yeah, like, as you said, they were going to make a new movie. So it's pretty much like, they're trying to get him.
Yeah.
He's pretty much out that Sarlacc pit.
He's out there, yeah.
Because, like, yeah, they clearly, in those movies, episode 4, they placed a lot of attention on him for some reason. Because he's Boba Fett. That's all we know.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to ask a second question. This one doesn't settle well with me. Is there any chance that the Mandalorian is Boba Fett? I don't want that.
I don't think so. I don't think Favreau would go that route.
Well, that's the thing, though. The rumors are that he wanted to make a Boba Fett show, and that Kathleen Kennedy was like, "No, we're not gonna do that."
So you're saying, what if somehow that's like,
yeah, all the rumors are saying that when
like
he pitched
it
as a Boba Fett TV show.
Yeah,
and then they said no, and like not exactly. You can make a new character. And that's what they supposedly did.
Then Disney's like,
but do you think there's a chance that as they went through it, they warmed up to the idea and like, yeah, you can have him? I hope not. I really hope not.
Yeah, because in that, because like, what if that's like the big spoiler? Like somehow,
It's like he is Boba Fett.
Yeah, or he
because
like they see the armor.
Because they've been very, 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 very protective of not saying his name. They have told us that his name is not the Mandalorian. In the show, they will not refer to him as the Mandalorian. So my question is, what if at the end of episode 1, there's a moment and someone asks his name, Boba?
What I'm interested in what your reaction would be. I wouldn't I'd be like, okay, let's just see where it goes. See how this plays out. But I'm guessing, based on how you're reacting to this, I don't think doesn't sound like you're too,
No.
How
how
against it are you?
Very. Like,
it would probably like...
It would not derail me. I'd still be open to
Yeah.
the ideas, and I still watch every week and all that stuff, and I'd be into it, and it'd probably still be great. I'm not, like, going to write it off because of that, but, like, I don't want it.
And then it would just be Boba Fett versus, Giancarlo Esposito, most likely.
Yeah.
So...
I just don't want that. I want Boba Fett back as long as he gets his butt kicked by the Mandalorian. I just love the idea of Boba Fett, who's, one of the best bounty hunters of all time, perhaps the best as far as like our known galaxy, although I will always argue for Cad Bane. But to see him come back and just like he's false. He's a fraud. Seeing the Mandalorian come in and just teach him a Mandalorian lesson.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. No, I want someone else. I want Carl Weathers to beat him up. IG-11.
That was the character I was also excited to see,
Same.
Because I think, I forget, in either an interview, someone's, I think Jon Favreau himself said his arc or something.
Yeah.
Pretty,
I've heard that too.
So I'm intrigued of his character as well.
I mean, you got to always take it with a grain of salt because they're not going to be like, IG-11's arc is kind of a throwaway. But no, I do think that you're right. I think they definitely have plans for him. He's cool, man. And if that thing's true, I forget where everybody keeps hearing it from. Maybe it's rumor, but I think it's true.
I'm sure, what the,
what?
You think the audience would be for that? If that was Boba?
Oh, yeah, dude, yes.
Maybe oh,
the mainstream, not the mainstream layman audience will eat that up.
Oh, yeah.
I know who that is. And it's just going to be it's going to further the connection. But that's why I think it works equally as well if you make him the villain. Because Boba Fett's not a good guy. Make him a meaningful villain.
Yeah.
Make up for him not having any sort of an arc. Like Phasma.
Yeah.
Phasma has more than Boba Fett by a lot. And still, People, and that's a criticism I'll go into. That's just a problem with the fan base, is that people don't remember that a lot of characters who were beloved in the original trilogy had no backstory. We did not know their name, Sheev Palpatine, and had, like, Palpatine. People love Palpatine. I love Palpatine. He's the namesake of my PlayStation account. I love old Sheev. But he has less time overall than Snoke in the original trilogy, than Snoke has in the sequel trilogy, and he's dead in 2. It's pretty much equal. Snoke has an equal amount of backstory as old buddy Sheev had. We did not know anything about Sheev. We didn't know his name until merch came out. I'm talking about back in the 80s. Like, and people complain, Snoke doesn't have an arc. So, like, neither did Sheev. He just showed up.
She was just emperor. He was
just cool.
Yeah, he was just cool.
Up. And yes, I'll say that he has that over Snoke. But, like, there's, like, it's not like, they're about the same. They're about the same.
Yeah.
All right. Same thing with Boba Fett. Like, people, and I do think Boba Fett gets criticism, but he's still hailed as, like, a legendary character, you know, and he didn't do much. I don't even think he's that cool looking. I said it.
Ooh.
I like Mandalorian armor.
Oh.
I just think of the Mandalorian armor I've seen, his is probably in my lower echelon of.
You think he's gonna get an upgrade?
Huh?
Will he get an upgrade?
Perhaps. I mean, look at Jango's armor.
that armor, like, you know, they shot
Jango's armor's cooler to me.
The hands.
Look, yes. So, you know, Mandalorian. I just hope that he goes against Boba Fett. I don't want him to.
I mean, I know you say this often, in JJ we trust.
Yes.
Do you also, would you stretch that to in Jon Favreau we trust?
I would say in Jon Favreau we trust, but before that, I will say in Dave we trust.
Okay.
In Dave I trust. I
think-
believe in Dave. So yeah, I'm not worried. I'm just a little worried.
Yeah, because even the people, you know, like, that at least feel like they have connections to it. They're going to review. I mean, that still is a pretty vague statement. They're going to, most likely, they're going to reveal Boba Fett, but, you know, most people are thinking, like, oh, the character. But not a lot of people are saying, like,
what's your name? Boba.
That's Boba Fett right there. Then he just walks off into the sunset. And I'm like,
Because see, the big thing for me there is that if he is Boba, the whole namesake of the show is fraud. Because he's not a Mandalorian whatsoever, so how could he be the Mandalorian? Unless that's a whole thing, like it's the Mandalorian. I've heard so much about the Mandalorian, who's not even Mandalorian.
What if it's more of an arc, like he's accepted amongst them?
That would never happen. That would never happen.
How does it work? Yeah, because, like, you could only be a Mandalorian if you're, like,
of Mandalore descent. Mandalorians are Mandalorians, you know?
like,
That's like saying you can be a Doug and not be a Doug. You know? Like you can be Dardarian, but not be Dardarian. It's like saying you're the chosen one, not being the chosen one.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll now have to. I can't believe you proposed that now. That worries me.
I know. But
I don't think I trust.
I digress. What was the word of the day today? Facade.
Yeah.
What if it's all a facade?
Well,
exactly. Moving on, though, I do want to talk about the Rise of Skywalker because that is.
Oh, do you now?
That's my bread and butter. That's my love. That's my heart.
That's what keeps the lights on?
I've been Yes. No, actually, it's trying to do the opposite. So we've got some tickets.
Yeah, some.
We got some tickets. I was reading the book Spark the Resistance, as I said before, and while I am not exactly pleased, we do have Rise of the Resistance that came out today.
Is it Rise of Resistance Reborn?
Resistance Reborn, as I said. Resistance Reborn. It is queued up. I have it purchased. It's ready to read, and I am really struggling to finish Spark of the Resistance. It is tough, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but I will be giving my honest opinion on the book. I think that it is poorly written. I think it's clunky. The dialogue is particularly in the first 150 pages is just bad. Doesn't fit the characters. Rose sometimes fits. Poe sometimes fits, but really neglects his entire arc of episode 8. And Rey altogether feels like a completely different character from episode 7 and 8. It does not feel like it's Rey whatsoever. Also, the story has not grabbed my attention, and I'm about 70, 80 pages away from the end, which put me to sleep today. It's tough, man. And I know that everybody's talking about the one that came out today, Resistance Reborn, and I'm so excited. Obviously, Wedge Antilles on the front cover, as noted on my Instagram, Elilo_Ren.
Wow.
But, man, I can't get through it. I'm about to cliff note the end, or whatever the hell it's called. I am going to finish it. I'm not going to do that. But every chapter I finish, I consider just reading a summary. I'm like, man, it's taking a lot out of me. It's taking a lot out of me. And it hurts. It makes me appreciate the GOAT, Claudia Gray, even more. Because something I want so direly now, after reading this, I've been so spoiled by Claudia and what she's given me with specifically the character of Leia, that I assumed we would be getting a Claudia Gray book leading into episode 9, because she's given us the main prequel into both sequel, as far as I'm concerned. Lost Stars led into episode 7 wonderfully. Not Lost Stars, Bloodline. Bloodline led into episode 7 wonderfully. And then Leia led into episode 8 perfectly. And now we have Spark of Resistance Reborn, sorry. They should have differentiated the titles more. I'm making up titles at this point. But I want Claudia Gray to write the character of Rey so desperately. I thought that's what we were going to get. We did not. I understand it. She's probably working on Lost Stars too, and for that, I will be okay. I will forgive. But it just sucks. You know? The story is so weird. It's like about this super selfish admiral whose name is difficult to pronounce.
Oh, yeah.
And I just named him something else in my mind. Every time I read the word, you know what I think of in my head? Earl. Commander Earl.
Wow.
His name is Spiffs. Or
Yeah.
Spitz. Spiffs. Something of that vein. But I don't recommend it. I'm sorry, I don't recommend the book. If you're a canon nut, obviously you're going to read it, but I think that if you're trying to pick a book that is going to hook you into the new canon, not that one. I am sorry, not that one. Go Spark of the Resistance, or go with the all-time favorite, Lost Stars.
Go Rise. You
What?
said Rise. You said Spark of the Resistance.
Sorry. I am so sorry. Spark of Resistance, do not. Avoid. I appreciate the effort of the author. I'm just saying not the best. I'm just saying if I was trying to get into canon and that was the book I read initially, I would not be a reader today. Thank you, Claudia Gray, for that. But I digress.
Yet again.
Yet again. Darkness, my old friend. Episode 9's coming out.
Yeah, less than
Some new pop vinyls came out. I was
Here
walking
we
in the
go.
Lego aisle of a Target, and unfortunately, I happened to peer over at the boxes, and I saw a couple character pairings in certain scenes that I wish I would not have seen. Which I'm going to use I think that this is a PG-13 show, and
You're allowed one word.
you're allowed one F word, and I'm going to use it here. Fuck Lego for doing this. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. You got it here. I'm so tired of not being able to walk in the aisle of a toy store 2 months out, 3 months out, and have to look at seeing this character and that character in this very defined set piece together right here, and it's things that you didn't see in the trailer, and then you're like, oh, okay, they're together right there, and it bothers me.
Because you're like, you know what to
Also,
expect.
Legos are really expensive. How much do they cost to make? Huh?
That's something I think you might have a story on your hands.
Man, a little piece of plastic, they probably... I don't buy it. $160 for a Millennium Falcon? I think not.
Yeah.
I think not. But Rise of Skywalker, there's a new Rey pop. dark ray pop.
That's the one.
I've got
Is it on that back?
this ray pop. No, it's part of a next
Next
second
one.
edition of them. This ray pop. I haven't bought a pop in a while. I hope this isn't Boba Fett.
That'd be pretty funny.
That would be pretty funny.
Like, okay, then they come out with new ones with just have Boba Fett. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, come on, now the likelihood. I mean, he doesn't even we've heard. Oh,
but see,
no,
we've
only heard him say one thing in the trailer.
Yeah. Good. That's it. And it should be noted that this is the exact rifle that Boba Fett used in the holiday special.
Oh, they're gonna cut to the holiday special, so because many people probably don't remember it.
Favreau does, and that's another thing. Favreau said he would like Disney to allow Lucasfilm to allow him to make a new holiday special. No, thank you, sir.
As you take a freaking angry sip of what is that? What's that you got there?
Oh, this is the unofficial sponsor of the show that doesn't know they're the sponsor of the show, Capri Sun. All natural ingredients. Respect the pouch. Fruit punch flavored juice blend drink.
Wow.
There's a little QR code if you want to learn more in the corner. You guys can screenshot that if you want. And bam. There you go. Neptune. Look, if that turns out to be a Boba Fett pop,
I'd laugh, honestly.
it's going to be a Goodwill.
Damn.
It's not true. I'll keep it and cherish it. But that would hurt. That would hurt. So we're going to go into episode 9, though, because I did a trailer breakdown, but we haven't gotten to talk too much about it on air. We have talked about it at length in person, off screen, but now that we are in this glorious studio of a bedroom of a studio, I don't know what way you would frame that, but what did the final trailer do to you? Did that forest planet seem to be Endor? Because to me it does.
Yeah.
And if the Death Star is in the movie, it would make sense that they would return to the forest moon and then perhaps go to the ocean moon. Because there's an ocean moon of Endor. Or maybe it's the other side. Who knows? It looks like a rainforest. If you have a Death Star crash into the side of that thing, creates a crater, a lot of rain, fills the crater with water, new ocean. It's been 30 years. Possible. We don't know their weather cycles. But a lot of lush greenery has to have some moisture. So that's what I'm thinking. It's so if it is indeed Endor, do you think we get a big final battle with none other than Wicket Warwick? Yes, right? And do you think he is who eventually kills Sheev Palpatine?
With a rock?
Stone.
Oh, a stone?
Yeah.
To the head?
No, to the abdomen.
A decisive blow?
He hits him in the kidneys.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know they don't. I mean, they have the technology to
To what?
They got back the tanks, man. You think he really
He's gonna
died
hit
off
him really good in the kidney. He's gonna make him drop.
Oh, you think the
and-
most powerful, their most powerful leader won't get that back to tank?
Nah, man, he's gonna get that rock and cock that thing back.
Oh, like instant? It'll
Justin Verlander that thing down straight 95 miles an hour at him. I don't know why I chose Justin Verlander. I'm not a fan.
Wow.
I'm nothing against him.
It's on air.
It is. I should have pulled the Kershaw reference. I apologize. But you get the point. Do we see Ewoks in battle? Yes or no? I'm gonna answer this too, but I want to hear yours first.
Probably for
This doesn't mean on screen. Like we may see them
Oh.
on screen. Do we see them in battle?
again, they'll be thinking oh man, how much of this could I take? I don't. Maybe off screen. I'm going under 40%.
I need a yes or no.
I'm gonna say no.
We do not see the Ewoks in action on screen. All right.
I just don't think so.
I'm gonna say yes, but I don't think in battle necessarily as in a battle, but I think they may be hostile for a moment until they see their king, their god.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, we do get a lot of
C-3PO.
C-3PO stuff here, so I'm sure. Okay, well in that case,
And what if BB-8 is some deity, deity?
yeah, because if he's round, he resembles one of them.
Wow, that's not nice.
What? They're not they.
Stubby,
Yeah.
They're mini Wookiees. Also,
I mean, can you believe they took down the
A dreadnought. They're gonna swarm
yeah, like they managed to fight off the freaking
Empire.
yeah. So.
Yes, they did. Sticks and stones will break your bones.
I don't know how how the Empire compares to the First Order,
Deadly.
but I know they got some new additions to their team. At least so.
Oh,
I've been
well,
heard.
we don't know what capacity, but yes, Sith troopers, Sith jet troopers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got some new additions, but guess what? So do the rebels, baby.
Who do they got?
We got Janna. We got Zoe Bliss.
She doesn't feel like she doesn't want to be part of this.
Oh, she will be. She's got to pick
And
a
we got
side.
Lando.
The Spice Runners have to pick a side.
Okay, here we go.
All right. I didn't want to read that, but John Boyega posted a picture and I couldn't resist. And I had to read Zoe Bliss, a Spice Runner on the planet of I have tried to avoid the names of things. What is it? I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
But they got to pick a side. And it's time. She's going to bring up those dual blasters and pew, 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 pew. What if Wicket attacks them and Zoe doesn't know about them? She pulls a blaster and puts 2 in his head.
But I do.
No. But I do.
Have you put in, this is just an aside, how many have you put in 75 entries into Omaze?
I have.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm a hope. I got to submit my droid before the 13th.
Oh yeah, this guy's gonna draw.
We can work on that after this.
on a napkin.
It's not going to be on a napkin, man.
All you do is draw ducks
A duck
with a cape.
with a cape, yeah.
Yeah. So
What if I draw a duck with a poncho and make him robotic?
it's not gonna work?
And call him a Mandalorian. And then turns out he's Boba Fett.
Stop it.
Can we get a Cad Bane TV show?
Years from now.
Nah, probably not. Probably not. But you know who would have to play him, right? Tom Hardy. It's because he has a face apparatus of some kind.
Of course. That's all. That's it. Because he has.
No, you know who I would want to play Cad Bane? I wouldn't mind Michael Fassbender. I could see him pulling it off.
Oh yeah.
Although a lot of people want him to play Thrawn.
Ben Mendelsohn
Christian
playing
Bale,
Thrawn.
man, if he wants to get all blue. I don't see him doing that, but Christian Bale would be cool. I'm also going to throw out... No, that doesn't work. He's already in it. I just watched Mississippi Grind last night. Have you seen it?
No.
A24, baby.
Mississippi Grind.
Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn, 2014, right before Deadpool. It's got like a 91% on Rotten. It's really good. You should check it out. It's on Netflix. Anyways, back to the Mississippi Grind podcast. I love Ben Mendelsohn. And I wanted to be in more Star Wars. He was oh my god. Director Orson Krennic. So why can't he be a blue guy,
I think you know the answer.
Ashton Kutcher.
I'd go
Or
with
Cad Bane. Or, okay, who's the last
How
person
did
you'd
we
want to
even
see as
get
Cad?
here?
Huh?
I was like, how did we even get here?
Cad Bane is always on my mind. That's how.
But where did the Cad Bane come from?
We're talking about, I don't know. I think that we're close to wrapping
like,
this up.
We were talking about like freaking Endor.
Episode
and
9. Endor,
then there'd be the
Ewok, Zoe
battle.
Bliss picking a side.
Oh, yeah.
Cad Bane.
Yeah, then that's where.
My side is Cad Bane.
Yeah, but mainly we're excited to see Rey's journey.
Speak for yourself. I'm mostly excited to see what's going on with the Porgs on the Falcon and how they're holding up. I want to see your journey nears its end. That's it. That's all I want to see. I just want to. I will pay full price just to see Ian McDermott speak in the Sheev Palpatine voice for 12 seconds. And now,
yeah, and now I don't add I can't have the rasp.
You can do it.
No, his voice is just naturally.
It
raspy.
is. It's so
Yeah,
good.
we got to
We got to meet
hands.
him.
Gotta
Shake
shake
the man's hand. The Senate himself.
see the Senate.
I am the Senate.
You think he'll actually throw out that line?
No.
I was a
Someone's like, like in. Okay, you have Hans. No. I'm sorry. You have Kylo Ren and General Hux meet Palpatine at the same time, right? It's just like when Rey and Finn met Han Solo. Like,
Oh, okay.
you're Han Solo,
Stop.
the smuggler. He's like, the smuggler. He's the rebellion general. And we're gonna see Kylo and Hux. He's like, Emperor Palpatine, or he's like, Lord Sidious, Emperor of the Sith, or whatever. He's like, Sith. He was the Senate. And they're just gonna have that scene.
That'd be a great parallel, and you know Star Wars is all about them parallels.
Yeah, but I think she would just
All right.
okay.
Okay.
He'd just
You're
shoot some
done.
lightning and kill Hux.
You're done.
A rabid cur. Do we think we get Snoke's explanation?
Whether he's alive? What
No,
if he
he's
Force
dead.
Ghost, he's
But I'm talking about, do you think that, like, think about how Snoke was talking to Kylo in episode 8 saying, you know, a rabid cub put in a place of power is a useful tool. What if Palpatine's, like, talking about Snoke to Kylo? He's like, a rabid cub placed in a place.
well, that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
It shows us, it just continues.
But do you think we get something like that? Like,
a Snoke reference?
obviously, we'll probably get more comics or books down the line to explain Snoke in
Maybe.
depth. But, like, I think you got to get something.
Well, Rey knows. So I was about to say, like, remember how we were talking about how the word gets around the galaxy?
Rey knows what?
That Snoke is dead. Is he?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, who he was.
Oh, who's
like
more
I think we have to get something.
in the movie or in the
Yeah, you
book?
can't just in the movie. You
Yeah,
can't just
probably, like,
have
yeah,
episode 9
you
and
might
have
have-
zero reference to this guy who was like,
Yeah,
we have to get something.
I think Palpatine might. Yeah, I divulge a little bit. Like,
Kylo Ren's like, what about Snoke? And then Emperor's like, F Snoke.
oh, there you go.
Where's Padme?
Okay, stop. You need to stop. We need to.
Is she?
We're
all right?
done.
And George is like, yeah, James Earl Jones, great
Oh,
job,
okay.
great job there. Just read it directly off the line, please. It's you're gonna win an Oscar for this one, I swear.
Okay.
Where's Padme?
You need.
No, that's so bad.
We've
It's so
talked about it
bad.
multiple times on here.
So I brought something up the other day that I want to bring up here before we leave. We grew up with the prequels. We're at the ripe age to grow up with the prequels, and I am very grateful for that. Because of that, I have a soft spot for them, But I did a rewatch of the whole saga last week, and there's a specific scene where there's two scenes back to back. One of them is Anakin turning into Darth Vader officially, with the suit. And he has a terrible dialogue moment. He's like, where's Padme?
Yeah.
No, that scene. And then immediately after, we cut to Obi-Wan, Bail, and Yoda having a very poignant moment, talking about the twins and who's going to go where. And it's very well acted, very well portrayed. Ewan's on top of his game. Jimmy Smits is on top of his game. Yoda's doing his thing. Frank Oz, he's on top of his game. It's just such a stark contrast, It's so crazy what... I do love Hayden Christensen, but... it's just crazy how different it is, It leads me to that thought I constantly wonder if it was a different actor who would have been able to see through George's direction for the character and give his own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a Leonardo DiCaprio or a Christian Bale. What would have happened? Also, again, sorry, this is a tangent, but I'm going to go on it because I'm there and this is my show, so why not? Couldn't we have had Obi-Wan and Anakin be the same age?
Oh, yeah. That's what we were talking about that.
The same age, a bit of a rivalry. Qui-Gon could have stuck around a bit longer. Not like him dying in the first, but, it just would have had a better dynamic. Obi-Wan is the main character, the definitive main character. And, we'll never know. We'll never know. But there was one last thing I wanted to touch on. Now it's this Capri Sun.
Okay. You. Oh God.
Delicioso. I'll do Spanish commercials too, man.
Delicioso.
You can do the Punjabi commercials.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
we'll have all kinds of audiences for this Capri Sun. Capri Sun, reach out, please. Look, this is the end of the show, and I want to thank you all for listening to my nonsense for about an hour, and I want to thank G for keeping me, for the most part, contained. But you know what? I'm not letting this go. Capri Sun, please reach out. I'll give you my phone number. I'll give you my social security if you want it. I just want that sponsor. So with that, I want to thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.